And now let's start the main digital event. The organization is taken by the AHK Mitgliederausschuss von Startups, με θέμα την Ελληνογερμανική συνεργασία στην ανάπτυξη του οικοσυστήματος καινοτομίας. Και νομίζω ότι εδώ μπορώ να καλημερίσω την κυρία Σόνια Μουσαβερέ. Η κυρία Μουσαβερέ είναι πρόεδρος της Επιτροπής Μελών Startup του Ελληνογερμανικού Επιμελητηρίου, η οποία θα έχει και το συντονισμό της εκδήλωσης αυτής. Την χαιρετίζω με πολύ μεγάλη χαρά και της δίνω το λόγο για να παρουσιάσει τους εκλεκτούς προσκεκλημένους της. Καλή σας μέρα, κυρία Μουσαβερέ.
Καλημέρα σας και σας ευχαριστώ πολύ. Θα μου επιτρέψετε να συνεχίσω στα αγγλικά, μιας και τα γερμανικά μου είναι πολύ αδύναμα. Από την άλλη, μία καλεσμένη μας δεν μιλάει ελληνικά. So, thank you very much and welcome in the second day of the AHK Innovation Forum. And for the next hour, we would like to touch the topic of youth entrepreneurship and startups, not only in Greece, but also to learn more from the well-established ecosystem in Germany. So, in the next hour, we will discuss about the situation in both ecosystems. We will check best practices that we can share, and also we will explore the possibility of collaboration and networking between the two ecosystems and the ways that we can do in order to achieve mutual growth. We have with us Dr. Suzanne Gevinus, who is the Director of Industry Research Policy at the German Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Welcome, Mrs. Gevinus. And also Mr. Fραγκίσκος, who is the Managing Director of Elevate Greece, and at least the one who has a very deep knowledge of our local ecosystem. Welcome, Mr. Theofylaktos.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
So,
hello, thank you.
Yes, please.
Thanks again for the invitation as well.
Thank you for accepting that. It's very important for us to discuss and find one pillar that, especially for the Greek economy, is an emerging pillar for development. So, let's start by setting the scene. So, Mrs. Gevinus, can you give us an overview? How is now the startup ecosystem in Germany, and what industries or sectors are the top? As you see, the whole event is dedicated to AI, but AI is not the only thing of innovation, it's only an element. So let's see what other sectors.
Thank you very much. Indeed, AI is a big topic also for the German industry, but besides that, we also have some more other technologies and industries and services that are provided. But let me start a little bit. It's always interesting to know how many startups do we have in Germany. And that quite depends on the size, how you define them, how long they are on the market. So the range is in between 20,000 and 60,000 startups we have currently in Germany. So it quite depends on how you define them. So that is quite a range we have. And most of them are in the biggest cities, such as Berlin, Munich, or Hamburg. But we also see a certain tendencies that startups are looking for the less urban areas as well, due to the increased digitalization and also to certain advantages they have, like the good air, nice places, more space as well. So we have a certain development that is also taking into account the less urban areas, but we still have the concentration in the bigger ones. You asked me about where they are mostly active. Indeed, 28% of them are in the information and communication technologies. So that is also addressing the idea of what you mentioned with the AI, with a lot of focusing on the digital business models. 11% are in the health sector. So that is also an important issue, which is where the market is huge, as you know, due to the demographic change. We have the need for new solutions. 8% on the food and consumer goods, and then we have a bit of ranges around each 5%: education, energy and electricity, mobility and logistics. So you see there's a huge range, which fits pretty much also to our structure. We have a wide range of industry sectors: manufacturing, automotive, chemistry. So that basically also explains that startups also looking in that field, how they can pretty much also offer their services to the companies and to the different players we have in the company to start with.
So, okay, yeah, it is obvious. Okay, digital and technology are on the top. I think it is the same also in Greece. It was very nice to hear that it was 11% about health, which is very important also. So in Greece, we have, okay, a little bit different situation. Of course, we do not have thousands of startups. So, Mr. Theophylaktos, where we stand in this phase, and what are the favorite sectors for new entrepreneurs?
Okay, thank you for the question. So, from my side, I would like, first of all, to introduce Elevate Greece to the audience. Elevate Greece is a governmental body under the Ministry of Development, and its main scope was, first of all, to map the ecosystem in terms of startups. So, we made the definition of the startups. So, we do accept submissions from startups which are younger than 8 years old, and up to date it was an initiative that started in 2020 in Greece, because we are not a so mature ecosystem as the German one. We have started around 2010 as an ecosystem, so we are close to the 15 years old in terms of formatted ecosystem. And having said that, I would like to say that up to date, we have received approximately 2,000 applications, and we have accepted 900 startups in our registry, because we do have a certain evaluation process, not only for the years of establishment of the company, the Greek company, but also because we first of all, we check the eligibility criteria in terms of the age of the company, and also on the size, because we accept only small and medium size enterprises, SMEs. And on the other hand, we do evaluate other two criteria. The first one is about innovation, of course, and the second one is about scalability. So, one applicant should have a positive response from our evaluators in both of these criteria. So, having said that, we are now standing in 900 startups in Greece, and we know that there are about 150 plus, which are scale-ups in terms of not only in Greek terms, but in European terms as well. So we are close to the 1,000 at least startups in Greece. I believe that it is something really significant for us.
For such a young ecosystem.
Yes, having in mind the first thing that Mrs. Moussavere said, that we are let's say, a young ecosystem, of course, and on the other hand, that we had a very heavy financial crisis during the past decade. So even though we saw that the startup ecosystem started then around 2012, 13, and then we saw that booming. Now we have a wide range of instruments to provide to the ecosystem. I will tell you more in a few minutes. But coming back to the sectors, we have seen that in Greece we have the main sector, which is the life sciences, medtech, health tech, biotech. It's 15% of our registry. which means it is 131 companies that have operations in this industry. And the second one is environment and energy, green tech, clean tech, which is around 9.5%. And the third one is travel, hospitality, and leisure. And I mentioned this because somebody would expect maybe a different allocation.
That was my impression also.
That's why. But and I want to emphasize that according to our view, the first category of life sciences is really, and medtech is really critical for Greece, because it shows that we do have a very good creation of IP rights, and also we have also the ability to transform it to successful startups.
That's good, very good. May I ask something here? Do we have a lot of, in this sector, in the medtech, do we have a lot from the universities, teams, spin-offs?
Yes, we do have, of course. Right now, we do have 80 spin-offs in our registry, and we know that many of them, most of them, not only many of them, are in this particular sector.
Yeah, life sciences, yeah,
Mhm.
of course. So, we now have this ecosystem which is arising. So let's see, what are the major, Mr. Theophylaktos, the major challenges that usually our startups are facing, especially in comparison with other European ecosystems?
Okay, thank you. So I will continue from a previous point. The last 5 years, we had a tremendous acceleration in the tools, the funding tools that are available for the startups. The government took a very significant law changes and also initiatives in order to foster the startup community in Greece. Recently, in 2020, the new law for angel investing in Greece was in place, and now we saw some months ago from the Prime Minister announcing the Golden Visa scheme, which is going to be introduced from the 1st of January 2025. Which is and we expect a huge, let's say, raised of capital from angel investors from abroad, from third countries. Also, we have tax benefits for the angel investors, and we have seen a great raise in VC funds and private equities. Also, so at this moment in Greece, there is about 30 VCs and private equities that have been launched and are active in different sectors and different windows of maturity of a startup. So we can, as an ecosystem, we can support the startup from the beginning up to the end, stage A or B. With participation of other funds from abroad, of course. The HDBI, which is the Hellenic Development Bank of Investments, a vehicle, a company belonging to the Ministry of Finance in Greece, make some calls and activate private funds as well, in order, with public funds, in order to make new funds specifically for the innovation and also for the scale-ups. So, having said that, I would like to focus on something that is, I think, a European challenge, which is the acceleration and ways to help the startups continue being in the European Union. We have seen from Greece that we have a lot of good ideas. We have seen that we have some good rounds of financing, but when it comes to IPOs or bigger rounds, then all startups, not only in Greece, see US mainly as their next step, which is something that it is also a thing that we discuss in the Greek ecosystem. And we are trying to find a mutual way with the other European countries to focus on this. Besides that, speaking only for the Greek ecosystem, our challenge is now the accelerate mode, acceleration phase. How can we reinforce it in order to help our startups to go to the next steps? Because acceleration for Greek startups is also an issue, also in the European countries as well.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe Mrs. Gevinus can tell us that as I agree that there are common challenges for all the ecosystems in the European Union. Let's see what are the challenges for a more mature ecosystem like Germany, that maybe they have already faced what we are currently facing. Mrs. Gevinus.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for mentioning the access to finance issue. You very well designed the problems and the challenges, which we also see. If we have a look at the funding section, we have a good availability of early stage financing, particularly through the form of state funds or business angels. And however, in the area of the growth fundings through venture capital, we also have those challenges, especially if you look to the markets abroad, especially in the US. So we see interesting startups that have developed within Germany, and then they are moving to the US, or they actually acquire capital from the US. So we see that brain train, to put it in brackets, but to see that development. So that is a huge challenge that is addressed also on the European level. Just to mention the Draghi report, which also see or address those challenges, how to create a stable European market to be attractive for those investments and for the startups. So we see that. I would like to, you were asking for the challenges. Besides the access to finance, we also see some other challenges, especially in Germany. We have the German Mittelstand. We have a range of companies that are also working together with the startups. And due to the economic situation, we also see that it's much more difficult for them to either invest into the startups or to work together with them due to the challenges and the need for investments into a new structure, to higher energy costs, just to mention a couple of things. So we have the current situation, the current crisis, that is also affecting the startups when cooperating, and it's also much harder for them to pass the cost to the customers. We see the struggle within the current situation. However, we also have some internal problems to mention. Some startups also say that the digitization of the administrative services can be improved. So that is our bureaucracy we have within Germany, where more enhancement is needed to be more attractive, not just for the startups, but also for our other companies and the German Mittelstand. One topic to mention, public contracts. That is one way when the state is asked or searching for new solutions, that it's also hard for the startups to participate because they are not long enough on the market. They have to provide security, so you know it. So, and I'm happy to have discussions. How can we change that? So one way would be to change public contracts by defining we need a new solution. Pretty much a lot of companies can put in an application by enhancing the options and by providing more information also to the startups to use that option with the public contracts. And to finish, what we've seen is that the proportion of foreign employees in startups has risen up to 31%. In Berlin, it's even higher. It's also an easier surrounding for them. But by being able to attract foreign workers, we also have the visa processes that are enabling for a faster skilled labor immigration. So that is to add to the big issue of funding, which is, I think, in the middle of it. But those are factors on the right and on the left side that are also playing a role for the success of the startups.
Yeah, of course, and especially when we have the obstacle of not staying in. I think that, as you mentioned it, brain drain, it's the major challenge.
It is. It
We
is
need
indeed.
to keep the development and the innovation within
Yes.
Europe.
Yes. Yes.
So those are the challenges for all for the startups in all different stages, either from early stage or for mature and for ready to go to the market companies. What you believe that you, Mrs. Gevinus, Mr. Theophylaktos, shared a little bit that our concerns, local concerns, what do you believe that we can learn from Germany, and best practices that we could implement? Please consider that also bureaucracy is an issue in Greece for many years. I think in most European countries, but okay. So,
Okay.
what is the examples that we could follow here in Greece?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for mentioning the bureaucracy. I'll try. It quite depends on the basis where you start. So, and that is different which is good, because that enables us to tackle different issues. We have our universities and research institutions are pretty well involved in cooperating with startups or in bringing out startups. So what we've seen is that also our government puts certain focuses on the universities as an incubator, as a vivid environment for bringing out new startups. So as we have also a close cooperation between the companies and the universities, and we have a huge variety of universities. It's not just only the regular universities, but also the non-university research, like the Fraunhofer institutes, that are very interested in cooperation and cooperating with the companies, with the Mittelstand, but also bringing out new companies and supporting them. So tackling the university and keeping them into mind and get them into the process is a good solution and an important step. And what our government has done is they have started a so-called Startup Factories Lighthouse competition, where universities can apply for funding when creating such an eco-friendly innovation systems for bringing out new startups. And the interesting point is that public money is given, but at the same amount, private money has to be attracted. So they can, we have currently 15 universities or groups of universities that have applied for those startup factories, and they have now to create a concept how they will be able to create such startups factory in the legal environment, how they will do the close cooperation, which kind of output, how they will do the financing. And 5 till 10 will be chosen, and they can receive up to 10 million euros for 5 years to create it. But they only get the money if they also bring in private money. So that is an incentive for the companies to get into this public-private partnership approach. So indeed, this approach is quite new in terms of the university, because what I know from other programs, usually they get the founding, and then they have to present concepts, also how they will do the financing after. But that is really focusing on bringing together private investment and public investment. And they were looking to Munich, where in Munich it started. They tried to evaluate or elaborate such a good startup factory, and they now try to enable other universities to do the same concept. So I'm quite interested and eager to see how that is going to work, because that started this year, and we have the current difficult situation. So I hope companies will be willing to do the investment, because without innovation, we won't be able to be productive in the future and also to be competitive. So.
And especially that we need innovation in high speed, because the environment is continuously changing. So something that might sound innovative today will not be innovative in 2 years.
That's true. And yeah, so that is one thing, to keep the universities, research institutions, keep them in mind, try to build them into the ecosystem, because they can provide the information, they can give good impetus, while also working together with the companies.
Mm-hmm. So I think that Mr. Svilaktos, we started this way with the technology transfer offices, but I think that we can keep this. I like a lot the startup factory, so maybe we can have it. We started. Do you want us to give us a little bit about more information about the technology transfer offices?
Of course.
What they are doing.
Of course. We do focus on universities as well and research centers. That's why we have started the creation of the TTO, the Technology Transfer Offices. And we have seen that many of them have made a very good job on this. And also 2 years ago, the law for the creation of the spin-offs was customized and was reissued in order to be more efficient for a group of scientists to create a spin-off. So that's why we have seen that creation of the spin-off in the recent years. So we focus on universities and technology transfer offices and research centers, because we do believe that we should valorize the IP and also the research that is made in the labs. On the other hand, I would like to say that we are now, next month, a new law is going to be voted for the increasing of the tax reliefs for a joint venture between startups and established companies and for R&D projects. So we could say that we reinforce the open innovation idea and approach, and the tax reliefs could be around 300% of the expenses that is made on 315 to be more accurate, for expenses in the R&D, for an R&D. So you understand that it's a very good initiative in order for startups and established companies to sit together and make some research and development on some new ideas. On the other hand, last Tuesday, we launched for the 4th time with the Hellenic Development Bank of Greece, the 4th competition about Open Innovation Challenge. So a governmental body, the Hellenic Development Bank puts 2 challenges and asks from the members of Elevate Greece, the startups, to submit their ideas, and also they give money for them in order to create the first proof of concept or MVP. And then they move forward by receiving more money in order to move on to the final product. So we have some very good, let's say, good practices and good ideas that we implement in order to reinforce the startup creation ideas and also valorization and commercialization of the products. We have seen this program for the Startup Factory from Germany, because we believe it's a very good idea and very good initiative. We do try to activate all the stakeholders of the ecosystem. And speaking about the stakeholders, I have already said about the angel investors and the VCs, but of course, we do collaborate with the chambers, also with the accelerators, the incubators, the government, and other private-owned companies. So we would like to be the enabler of the ecosystem in order to facilitate the whole process of discussion and creation of new ideas in order to foster the place of our ecosystem in the whole landscape of Europe.
And you know that this is why I like it a lot, the Startup Factory, because you need to have a very good, a strong idea, not only to attract state money, public money, but you can have this only if you have the acceptance of the industry and the private sector money. This is why it makes it makes the companies competitive. Do we have any example, Mr. Zophylaktos, that we have a Greek startup working or having funding on sharing marketing strategies with Germany or something expanding in Germany? I don't know. Do we have any success story on this?
I would like to mention the most well-known, and it was the first, let's say, success story of the Greek ecosystem back in 2014 or 15. An application for how to find the taxi efficiently. The BIT, it was called then BIT, now it's free now, was acquired by Mercedes-Benz for 40 million euros. And that was a huge amount then. Of course, now that we speak, we do have already 4 unicorns in the Greek ecosystem. So I believe that, and meaning unicorns, it's the valuation of the company more than $1 billion. So I believe that in for such, let's say, mature and evolving startup ecosystem, it's a very good success. And we do have a lot of unicorns, meaning companies that are moving towards this valuation. So we are very proud of it. And it shows that something is happening in Greece, and we are trying to back all this, how can I say, traction in order to make it something very visible. So we have seen already a company that was acquired from another German one, and now it's a European, not European, a global application. And also we know that a lot of companies, not only registered in Elevate Greece, but other startups, not only in Elevate Greece, focus on the Greek market, mainly for the green tech or clean tech industries, which is something very important for them. And also they focus on other areas, such as, one moment, such as agri-tech and also for the manufacturing. So we know, I don't have something specific to tell you, but we know that they focus for Germany, and also they see opportunities in the German markets.
Especially in agri-tech, I can confirm this because as company, we are active on this, and many startups approach us just to have access to our headquarters, not only for Greece, because, okay, here is, we have smallholder farmers, it's not easy to develop something big. So we have some examples. We have Startup Factory, yeah, okay. We keep that. We know that the universities are the ones that can feed with innovation the startups. And we said about the VCs here in Greece and in Germany and angel investors. We have seen that we have a lot of legislative changes in order to support the investment in new companies. So let's see if there are something, apart of the Startup Factory, other programs that are that ensure the funding of early stage startups. Mrs. Givinus, are there any this kind of programs, the big programs that you have in Germany?
Well, we have such programs like the High-Tech Gründerfonds, which is basically a fund also for innovative technologies and business models, also a public-private partnership with the Ministry of Economics, as well as the KfW, which is our bank that is also supporting. That fund has been founded almost 20 years ago. and they have financed more than 750 startups in the industrial tech, digital tech, life science, and chemical sectors. So that is a big player in the scene. But I would like to draw your attention to something that has been founded 5 years ago. That is our Sprint agency. It's an agency supporting disruptive technologies. And that is also interesting because we had a presentation by Sprint last week, and they also get applications from abroad within the EU. So that could be also interesting for Greek startups to apply, because they conduct so-called challenges for certain questions they have, let's say in terms of life science, or how to beat cancer, to find solutions in terms of reducing microplastics. So they have challenges where companies can apply, and where they get money to work on a certain question and to develop solutions. And Sprint, the focus is to find new ideas, disruptive technologies that are able to change the market completely. So we're not talking about incremental innovations like little adjustments, but totally new products, totally new ideas, such as personalized medicines, or new idea in terms how you can use technologies in space. So new ideas and new ways of acting and producing. So, and this Sprint company or Sprint agency, it's a state agency with its own budget, and they can decide where they give the money to. So people can apply, and they also support financing. So they do startup boosting. So whenever, especially in the early financing, they provide different financing opportunities as well, besides the private financing. So there are different opportunities. But I would suggest to have a look on that Sprint, because this institution is pretty new, or 5 years ago, built in Germany. So, and everyone is looking, okay, what is happening? Which new innovation, disruptive innovation will evolve and has the potential to change the market. So that could be of interest for you, especially in the early financing and development of new technologies.
That's good. Nice. So, Mr. Zafilaktos, okay, you mentioned about the chambers, the incubators. A lot of companies have also acceleration programs, private companies. What else we have as a major, and I think you mentioned already Kαινοτομό.
No, I didn't mention this one, the Ερευνό Καινοτομό, you mean?
Yeah,
maybe.
Ερευνό Καινοτομό.
Yes, thank you for telling about it. It's a program that it was first launched in 2017, if I remember correctly, and now we had the new call for applications. It is a grant-based program, mainly for the research and development and the cooperation between companies and research institutes and universities in order to produce new ideas and new products. The total amount of the public money is 300 million euros, and which is a very big amount for the Greek state.
For Greece.
And of course, it mobilizes at least the double or 2.5 times the amount of this from the private sector. So by having this, let's say, grant tool, we motivate the investments from the private sectors in order to collaborate with companies, not only startups, but innovative companies, just for the creation of new ideas and new products. Besides that, we have recently seen the creation of let's say, a technology transfer funds in Greece, because we didn't have this window covered until now, and it was underserved. So the Hellenic Development Bank of Investments saw this gap and mobilized the private money, combining, of course, with public money. And we have now seen the new fund that was established a few months ago, and they have done a wide research in the Greek area, in the universities, and they saw some very good cases. diamonds, as they said to me, that are ready to be spin-offs and then ready to receive the first amount of money. And also we know that there are in line at least 2 or 3 TTO funds that are going to be launched in the, I don't know, next month or during 2025 maybe. So we see that now we can start as an ecosystem from the angel investing, which in Greece starts around 50,000 euros and goes up to 150. And now, of course, we expect the Golden Visa new law that is starting from 250 K investment in a startup. So we are looking forward to see how it is going to be implemented and how many funds are going to be raised through this initiative. And we go up to the more mature funds and private equities that can support the company in the next rounds. That makes also the Greek, let's say, innovation and ecosystem, the Greek startup ecosystem more extrovert, because when you receive funds from a Greek fund, then usually in the next rounds, we have a combination of other funds and a collaboration with funds from abroad. Many times we have seen funds from abroad leading the next round. So that means that we are also use the best practice of extroversion through the funding, and meaning that new markets are opened and also new ideas are coming from the investors. Just to close, I would like also to say that we do have some other good practices, and I would like to mention the one from the Prefecture of Central Macedonia in Greece, which they have launched for 2 times the Open Innovation Challenge, and they have already 4 companies in the first year, and the second year now they have 10 companies, private ones, that have put the challenges, and many startups have gone and they have submitted their ideas. So they have received money, and then they have moved forward towards new ideas and new products. So we do have a lot of steps to cover, of course, because we are evolving ecosystem, but we have, let's say, selectively see some good ideas and good best practice from abroad, and we try to implement it in Greece as well, because we believe that we can motivate and stimulate the whole ecosystem towards the right direction. So yes, of course, I would see the Sprint Agency because it seems really interesting for us. And if I understood correctly, it's a VC vehicle or a funding vehicle, not a grant vehicle.
They do different things. So
okay, I will check it.
Yes, check it. They do different things. They offer
Perfect.
they offer early stage financing, but they also start when the innovation is going on. So I'm not sure when they get into the VC, but they have different options they offer in terms of the disruptive innovation. So I'm also happy to share, if you needed, the contact. So if you directly want to talk to someone, they're doing a great job. Very innovative.
Thank you very much.
So that was, we can check one objective of this discussion. So we have a mature ecosystem which is evolving, Germany. We have our new ecosystem in Greece, evolving, of course, and making a lot of steps in Greece. How those 2 ecosystems can work together. We have the investors, all the stakeholders, how we can bring them together and how they can work. Do you have any proposals, Mrs. Gevinus?
Well, I can tell you what we do in Germany. We have a local network of the chambers. We have 79 chambers, and what they offer is matchmaking processes. So they bring together interested in your universities together with the companies on certain topics. So because it's always important to find each other. If you have a great idea, but you do not have anyone who can realize this, then the idea is great, but it will not develop. So that is important to have people, institutions that offer such a platform to meet, to interact, to get to know each other, to find new ideas. So that is one of the jobs our chambers do. That is also what we know from abroad. The chambers are doing, our network of chambers abroad, to provide that kind of information and to provide opportunities of meeting and interacting together.
This is what we are trying also in the committee of the Greek-German Chamber, just to create this bridge between Germany and Greece, in both ways, of course.
Which is important. Absolutely. I'm happy to hear all what's happening in Greece, and I'm so glad about those developments and the different options and opportunities you have, and such a vivid development as well.
Mr. Theophylaktos, what do you believe that we can, the strengths from Germany that we could use here in our local ecosystem?
I believe that we have a lot of things to learn from the really mature ecosystem that have a lot of good cases to show and best practices. So I believe that through dialogue like the one that we have today, and through your role as the chamber that connects the two, let's say, countries in all terms of entrepreneurship, can create a very good pathway in order to follow it and have mutual areas of interest, and of course some very good ideas and best practices, because I believe that we can share a lot of things, and also maybe we can in a way define some special areas of interest among the two ecosystems, and maybe we can work together towards this. In any case, I believe that and because we do have very active chambers in Greece, that they participate in some fairs, and also they participate in B2B meetings abroad. And we do give to our startups, our members, the opportunity to participate as well. We do believe that we can focus on this discussion and also opportunities for B2B meetings or other cooperative meetings, and also for some export identification needs, in order to find something that we can elaborate on it.
Yeah, of course. I think that the chambers have already started this with the fair, the international fairs, the participation in international fairs. But of course, we have to have a channel of communication continuously open between the countries. So we will try our best in the chamber or in AHK to do that. So now we said we saw best practices, we saw the current situation, we saw the challenges, we saw best practices, and things that we can share between the two countries. Let's see the other thing, the future. What are the future trends? So, Mrs. Gevinus, you know that, okay, a part of the advancing technology in Germany also has an advanced ecosystem. What are the trends that we have to, our local startups also, or the European startups, who have to consider?
Okay, thanks. Yes, thank you so much for the questions. I would put it, I would mention it, the 3 Ds. 3 Ds, easy to memorize. D, the first D is the digitalization. We talked already about the AI, but everything that concerns digitalization in different branches of the industry, of the sectors, of the, so digitalization will take place, and that is a good opportunity for the companies, for the startups to get into. That's the first D. The second D concerns decarbonization of the economy. So that includes climate protection, energy efficiency, renewable energy, the whole issue of carbon capture and storage, circular economy. So everything that helps to decarbonize the economy and to create for future trends and development. And the third D is the demographic change. We have more and more people that are becoming older worldwide, also in Germany, and we have to find good solutions to support the demographic change. And that starts with healthy aging, so everything in the health sector, but also offering opportunities that people can stay by themselves at home as long as possible by using technology as well, by being able to become older in a good environment. So that has a lot of different services, but also technologies that go hand in hand. So the 3Ds, digitalization, decarbonization, and demographic change, are opportunities for company to go into because the market will be there and it will increase.
I like it a lot, the 3Ds. So, Mr. Thofilaktos, of course, we are aligned with the global trends, needless to say. What also is for the local economy important, and of course, the local needs?
Okay, first of all, I wouldn't agree more with the 3Ds because it is a common challenge for the whole world, not only for Europe. If we speak about the Greek market, which is already covered from the 3Ds, of course, I can see that we have a lot of way and an opportunity in the retail tech and e-commerce because we have a lot of retailers in Greece, which is mainly in the same, let's say, chain of the value-added product of the tourism. So if we speak about the tourism, because every year we have visitors from all around the world, around 32 million people coming in Greece. So we see a huge opportunity in the retail tech and e-commerce. And we believe that it should be reinforced. We haven't seen the evolvement of the solutions or new ideas in this particular area. Which is, of course, covered from the digitalization that you mentioned before. So, but I wanted just to give an example of a sector which is, I could say, important for our GDP in Greece. And also, of course, we can see more things from the maritime industry because we are very strong in this area. But I do see a lack of new ideas or how can I say, a good proportion of companies that are aiming this particular industry. And I believe that they, in both terms, in both ideas, they have a very good, how can I say, sandboxes to start with because they do have a mass population of visitors in Greece. So we are not speaking about only for the local market, which is 10 million people, but we speak for 40 million people. So we speak for another country different from the Greek as we know it. And on the other hand, we speak for the maritime industry, which Greece is the strongest one worldwide. So they can start with that. And not just as a pilot, as we used to say in Greece, because we usually say that Greece is a very good testing area for a Greek startup to start with and then go to other markets. But in these two cases, at least, we can speak in other terms. So I would like to believe that maybe we would see some new ideas coming for these particular areas for the Greek market mainly, and then they would maybe easily go abroad and expand their services.
So as we have only 5 minutes left in our discussion, okay, time flies. I think it was a great discussion. So let's, Mr. Thofilaktos, give us one small advice for any new entrepreneur that participated today and watch us now.
Okay, thank you for this question. I would say that anyone who believes that has a good team and a good idea should try it in a very formal way, meaning that of course, I wouldn't speak about the team because we know that it's very crucial. You have to be with people that you trust, and also they have the capability to deliver. And also, when they have these two elements, I would say that maybe they should move forward and receive free advice from incubators and accelerators, mainly incubators, just to define their idea and find the unique selling point of it, the USP, as we say. And then when they start with this first step, I believe that maybe they would see all the benefits and also some things that maybe they should change or how can I say, make better in order to make the next steps towards the creation of the company and also the creation of the MVP or the proof of concept of their idea, and launch it and discuss with the market that they address. So small steps, good team and small steps.
Thank you so much. Mrs. Gevinus.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, almost nothing to add. Use your strength. You know, if you have a good idea, go for it. Look for good partners that can support you. Maybe also partners that you don't have in mind all of a sudden, but that can give you some advice. Discuss your ideas and maybe discuss it also with people who have another opinion, because they can give you an insight what works well or where changes are needed. So, and I know it's a lot of you have the inspiration, but then you need transpiration to work for it. And I can only keep my fingers crossed. It's worth it. If you have a good product and if you have a good idea, go for it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Gevinus, for your time and your participation. Thank you, Mr. Thofilaktos. You give us a nice overview of the local ecosystem. I hope that the participants enjoy it. And as we did, thank you, and we will stay in touch. Mrs. Anastasopoulou, the screen is yours.
Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ, κυρία Μουσαβελέ, για την συμμετοχή όλων των ομιλητών. Αποκτήσαμε μια πάρα πολύ καλή εικόνα του οικοσυστήματος Ελλάδα και Γερμανία, και εγώ θα ήθελα να κάνω μια ευχή σε αυτό το σημείο, αν μου επιτρέπετε. Αν με το καλό είμαστε μαζί του χρόνου τέτοια εποχή, ο κύριος Θεοφύλακτος να μας πει ότι 900 νεοφυείς εταιρείες γίνανε 9.000, και γιατί όχι 19.000 μέχρι τότε. Θα είναι μια πολύ μεγάλη επιτυχία για την Ελλάδα αυτή. Δεν λέω να προσεγγίσουμε το απλησίαστο αριθμό των 600, ας πούμε,
να κάνουμε με τον πληθυσμό μας, κυρία Συσοπούλου, αλλά καταλαβαίνω την ευχή σας, και το μόνο σίγουρο είναι ότι υπάρχουν πολιτικές συγκεκριμένες, οι οποίες μας οδηγούν προς μεγαλύτερα νούμερα, αλλά και ποιοτικότερη δημιουργία startups, που είναι σημαντικό η εμβάθυνση του οικοσυστήματος από ένα σημείο και μετά.
Vielen herzlichen Dank an auch Dr. Gevinus. Ich habe gesagt, Frau Dr. Gevinus, dass wir haben also noch nicht die Kraft, bis zum 600.000 Startups zu schaffen, bis in ein Jahr. Aber auf jeden Fall, wir sind unterwegs, wir sind auf einem guten Weg, sagen wir mal so. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Θα κάνουμε τώρα ένα πολύ μικρό διάλειμμα 10 λεπτών και θα είμαστε μαζί με την επόμενη συνάντησή μας, την οποία οργανώνει η Böhringer Ingelheim Hellas. 10 λεπτά λοιπόν διάλειμμα. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Thank you.